Hello, I'm here with Jill George. She is the publisher of Heinze Quill Publishing, and she is our premium sponsor for the History Through Fiction conference. So, Jill, thank you so much for supporting the conference and sponsoring it.
My absolute pleasure. I'm so excited about this conference and supporting writers and publishing. It's so incredibly important what we're doing, telling history and rebalancing history, all of us. So I'm glad and excited to hear what everyone has to say.
Well, why don't you tell me a little bit about Heinze Quill Publishing? When did you start it, and what is it exactly?
This quill is named after my grandmother's, and I started a few years ago publishing stories about women and the men that supported them throughout history, mostly in the 1800s, whose successes have been there all along. We just never had the opportunity to hear their tremendous stories of grit and allyship, how they made the successes happen and changed roles in society. And really, that is our inheritance. They paved the way for us. And so I want to bring those stories to light, whether it's through my own writing or perhaps some colleagues' writing. So I publish fiction and nonfiction. In fact, I just finished a nonfiction book.
Well, I wasn't familiar with your nonfiction. Why don't you just give us a rundown of your fiction novels and your new nonfiction novel or book?
Well, I'll just tell you maybe about my favorites. So one of the ones I wrote that you're familiar with is Illuminating Darwin, Arabella's Light. And this is a tale where Charles Darwin got a lot of help doing what he did. Of course, many men did, but he really didn't appreciate women all that much until he ran across a preacher's daughter, an unlikely source of incredible intelligence, and she learned science by working with Charles Liddell, and who is Charles Darwin's friend, and himself. And the story goes through how she actually brings light into Charles Darwin's life, and she becomes a written author herself, which is, as you know, very difficult for women in those days, and actually changes Darwin's mind about many things. She was the only woman reading friend that is a reader, a discussant with Charles Darwin. So that's one of the books, and it's very true, very factual. And then kind of along that same nonfiction is a book I wrote called Daughters of Stone and Grace. Now, people are always saying, gosh, your books are so realistic. Why don't you just write a nonfiction book? And I thought about it, and I realized sometimes it's hard for us writers to get the dialogues correct. And so instead of trying to agonize over that, I decided to just go ahead and write a narrative, creative nonfiction book, which is very similar to fiction, except the dialogue is not there. And this book is 24 stories of enslaved women and the amazing heroic things that they did and the allyship that they brought together to create successes and break roles and break systems that bonded them, enslaved them. And so I'm doing a May 2nd opener for that at the Valentine's Museum in Richmond, Virginia.
Well, I have to say, it's really incredible what you're doing, all the work you're coming out with, and so quickly. And I had a chance to blurb Illuminating Darwin. It really is a fantastic novel that not only illuminates Darwin, but illuminates these women that were behind the scenes and never got the credit. So kudos to you for all that work you're doing. It's really quite amazing.
Thank you, thank you. But really, this is not about me. This is about the conference and the opportunity for others to feel like they can write a Hamnet, bringing together the resources around, am I putting too much of myself in the story? Is the dialogue accurate to the times? Am I being too precious with the historical data so that it reads like a history book? These are things that the colleagues that you've brought together and the speakers that you've brought together, which are so amazing, are going to help revolutionize our writing. And I'm just really hoping that we all are able to come away generating new ideas for writing that's going to create a new and very cohesive group, and that would help revolutionize not only our own writing, but the writing space. So that is what I'm so excited about.
Well, we really appreciate the support. You've articulated the mission of our conference very well. Before I let you go, you are doing a very special session throughout the conference called Letters from the Revolution. Tell us what that is and how people can participate.
Right. I don't want to give too much away, but everybody's going to get a chance to participate and answer a question, something they've always wanted to ask. I won't do a spoiler alert, but again, the intent of that exercise is to help build everybody's portfolio of things they might want to write about in the future. So I imagine everybody has like a list or a file or a box or something full of ideas of things, someday I might want to write about her, or he'd make a great subject to write about. Well, that's the intent of this exercise, is to get those juices flowing and maybe provide some seeds so that you can think of some new things to perhaps write about in the future.
Well, it's going to be a ton of fun. I'm so glad that you're going to be a part of it. And I'm really looking forward to seeing you at the conference and connecting not just with you, but all the other writers that'll be there.
It's going to be fantastic, and I cannot wait.